What is going on, guys? Welcome to another week of buy the dips and sell the rips. And boy, what a crazy week we had. The week was going crazy. We were going like, okay, well, let's go trade some BNB. Let's go do some pump. And then all of a sudden, guys, we get a massive market nuke. And luckily for you guys, if you guys are in Boltz Alpha, by the way, link is down below our Discord channel. We were giving you guys the dips in real time, and a lot of you guys actually took a big advantage because some of the dips we got on Friday, they were just crazy, like negative 40%. Some even went to like negative 80. So a lot of really solid calls on the Boltz Alpha. So if you guys are like don't want to miss these like amazing and great opportunities, you guys know where to go. But with that being said, what are we looking at? So, for example, we caught this one like I was telling people, like on Friday, when we got this crazy dip all the way to 7 mil, guys. It like tapped 7 mil. I was like, yo, guys, now's the time. Take advantage. And boom, it's already up a 2x. This is one of the coins we were highlighting quite often a lot also when we were calling a couple coins. But there's another one to keep an eye on, and I still think this coin is still very bullish. Okay, so right now, if you were in Boltz Alpha, you guys got the amazing dip of 7 million. You guys are already up a 2x. I'm going to continue holding this one because I think eventually if you did get that dip and you were in Boltz Alpha, you're just going to wait a little bit. But for those of you who might have missed it and aren't part of Boltz Alpha, I'm letting you guys know 15 mil looks pretty solid still. I still think this kind of taps 30 mil eventually, but I'm going to make you guys keep an eye on this because right now it is hovering around that 15 mil. I'm going to expect another dip here, guys, to maybe come down here to 12 mil and then bounce, okay? So we probably see a dip here of coming down to 12 and then bounce and continue going up. So that's when I would try to position myself if you guys are not already in it. So really solid player here for Tokabu. Now, moving on with the next one, guys, we got PFP, and you guys know I've been telling you guys about PFP forever. Telling you guys, yo, this looks pretty good. This looks pretty solid ever since 1.2 mil. We already had a crazy like 8x on this one multiple times, but guys, on Friday, it came down to 2.6. All right, it came down to 2.6. Now it's at 3 million. I personally feel we see another little dip here back down to that 3 mil, that nice 3 mil spot again. So I see it coming down here. That's where now we're going to accumulate. The community looks pretty solid. If it actually was able to withstand the massive dump that happened on Friday, I think this is it has a pretty good following, has a pretty good cult, and a pretty good amount of holders here to be able to sustain it. So I do think we come down to 3 mil again, test it one again. This is the time you would probably accumulate and then write it up because I think we're going to get like a double dip here and go upward. So this is one that I would keep an eye on around that 3 mil range. The next one, guys, we called also in the Boltz Alpha. This is kind of like a long-term play hold because, as you guys know, this is one of the most predominant coins out there in the crypto space. But it came down all the way to 315 mil. And we were like in Boltz Alpha, dude, guys, get the dip. Now, it went up a little bit. It's not super dramatic where it's like a 2x. But it's up a little bit because these are like longer term holds. As you guys know, Fartcoin has been one of like the most bullish coins out there. And the last time it got like a crazy dip, which is at 250, it ran up all the way to 1.6 billion. So I'm expecting maybe not this massive revival, but at least enough to give you like a 2 to 3x if you were in Boltz Alpha and you got it here. But ideally here, still anything below 500, I still think it's a pretty solid accumulation phase. Ideally, because you should theoretically get like a 2x on this one. Even a healthy 80% with a big, like a big entry or a big ape, you should be able to do pretty solid. Right now, it's at 4.36. I'm hoping it comes down like below 400. I doubt it. But as long as it stays within that range, I think we're good for a nice, healthy 2x here with a good port. All right, the next one we have, guys, and this is going to be on the BNB chain. If you are not trading on BNB, you guys are missing out on a lot of really good potential, and especially a lot of really good runners that run pretty crazy as they start off. So think about like the early stages of pump when we had that last year. That's kind of like what BNB is doing. I don't know how long it's going to last, but if it's lasting, it's lasted for a longer period of time than I thought it was going to last. Things are looking pretty solid over there, so it's time to take opportunity. One of the coins I like a lot, and I feel like came down a little bit here, is going to be the Pub Coin. Now, this is going to be right now there is really not a major dog runner on BNB. There's a cat runner, but there's not a dog runner. So Pub would probably be the one that I'm kind of keeping an eye on. It came down to 5 mil here. Eventually, this was like a really good entry, like this 5 mil entry, because I see here you're already 2x, but potentially I'm looking at it comes down to 10 again. We get like a nice little dip here, and we kind of ride it up because the all-time high on this one was like like 20-ish something there. So I think it still has a pretty good momentum. So I'm looking for like a like a 10 to 8 mil entry on this one to kind of solidify it, and we should be pretty solid. So this is gonna be on the BNB chain. The next one we got, guys, is Financial Freedom. There's another pretty good coin on the BNB chain as well. We're looking for an entry of 2.53 mil range, which is going to be like a nice little sweet spot here. This one actually ran pretty crazy all the way to 40 mil. So right now, after the major dip that we had on Friday, it recovered pretty nicely there from this 2 mil range. It went back up to like almost 5, so the nice little 2x here. I still think we're going to come down a little bit. There's going to be a little bit of sell-off. So I'm expecting something around that 3 mil to 2 mil range. I think ideally that would be a very nice sweet spot to be able to kind of accumulate this one. I think it gets another little push up, and as we progress here. Okay. So this one we already talked about. The next one I have on the list is Moby, and the reason I'm mentioning Moby is because even though with the major dip we had on Friday, so it was sitting at 14 mil, it only came down to 10 mil, and then it had a beautiful bounce back to 12. On this one, I'm gonna be doing the same thing. I'm just gonna see what it happened right now. I wouldn't buy it because I kind of want to buy like here at this 10 mil range, but you want to see what happens off of this bounce. So if it bounces here off this 12.9, this 13 mil, and it keeps going up, maybe that would be the time to kind of pay attention and accumulate. If not, we might see some like, kind of like resistance here, and it hits here and it comes back down. Okay. So that's what we should see for Moby. Theoretically 13 mil is not a bad, but of course I always like that perfect entry at that 10 mil range. That's where I would want to accumulate. The next one, guys, that got an amazing dip, and is Labubu. Now, you guys know I am a big fan of Labubu, not because of what it's doing right now currently in the chart, but what I think it's going to do as we get closer to October. Now, unfortunately, the thing that happened on Friday caused a major dip. It came down almost to like 3.3 mil, and now it's sitting at 4 mil. Very nice, solid entry here. This is where I would kind of just put a little bit in here. I mean, I wish they would come back to 3.5 again. That would be a nice little entry point to kind of just solidify it there. But I still think anything under 4 mil is pretty nice, solid entry here to potentially a 2x. And if it gets the run that I think it's going to get, because we're getting to Halloween, I think a lot of people are going to dress as Labubu. I think it's going to be mentioned a lot. But eventually, as we get towards December during Christmas time, I think they're going to be giving out a lot. People are going to give them out for Christmas. So I think this is where we kind of see that nice spike we want. So this is going to look for like a hold for like about, like maybe a month or two to kind of get that return that you're looking for. But still, anything under 4 mil, I think it's pretty solid. The next one we have, guys, and this is the reason I'm mentioning Spark. Spark has had multiple runs. It's had multiple dips. Right now it's at 5.3 mil. Still pretty solid entry here on this 5 mil range. I mean, it came down almost to 2.8 mil. That would have been where you wanted to accumulate, but right now it's at 5. What you want to see it happen right now is you want to either see if you get another dip here to that 3.5 mil range. That is when I would probably accumulate just a little bit and see if we could get another run with Spark. I don't think it's officially dead in the sense of like it's not going to revive, but I do think that eventually we get another little kind of spike up here and it gets revived again. But that drop to 2 point, like that really low drop was amazing. But 3.5 is where I would probably see like, okay, let me accumulate it a little bit and try to get that going. The next one we're going to mention is OneCoin, and it's kind of like almost coming down to like what I actually drew here. I just kind of missed it on the date, right? I missed that dip on the date, but it still looks pretty solid here. Right now it's at 3.4. It's like around 4 mil. I think anything under 4 mil is a very nice accumulation zone. I think this one is about a month to 2 months to start cooking, just because I don't think this is going to completely die off here, which is that 3.7 mil range is kind of like where it's kind of just been having that nice floor. Due to the Friday dip, they got that major dip, but it was holding very beautiful here within that 5 mil to 7 mil range. Eventually, I think it gets another spike up here, and it comes back into that 7 mil range. We kind of just start consolidating between 7 and 5 again. And then I think it gets another test to all-time high. So like I said, anything under 4 mil, that 3.5 mil range would be ideal in the sense of you being able to kind of just start accumulating here on this zone for a potential 3 to 4x here on this play. All right, the next one we have is Dupe. This one didn't come down from too much with that Friday dip, guys, we got kind of, it was sitting here like around, I think it was sitting here like around 13 mil, like that 13 mil range. And then it just got a crazy, crazy dip all the way to like almost 8.5 here. And then we got another pushback to 13. Ideally, what I want to do with this one, anything under 10 mil, it's kind of like where you want to be right now. It's undecided if we're going to go and retest this 17 mil again and go back up. If we don't retest that 17 million, then I do expect it to come underneath 10. Anything under 10 looks pretty solid for Dupe. Eventually, I still think anything under 20 mil is still a really good entry. It's just that we want to make sure you get that ideal entry. Super undervalued. I think ICM meta is going to kind of lead the way here as we get in here towards this Q4 here and into like the, like kind of like Q1 of 2026. But eventually, anything under 20 mil, I think it's still pretty solid. But ideally, the entry you want is anything below 10. I think that's where you're going to be pretty good. Now, how low can it go from 10? That's a question a lot of people have been asking. Ideally, this 8 mil range was kind of the kind of the test zone of where it says like if we go under this, we're going to come back and test 6 and 5 again. But it didn't go under that. It just kind of held that really nice. It had a beautiful recovery. So eventually, right now, we kind of just want to see if it comes back to 10 again, and then it just bounces back up. And if you're not in it, you just kind of want to ride that wave. So anything under 10 would be a very solid move. And that's pretty much on the dips that are still currently available. Some of the coins I didn't mention that had some major dips because they already recovered. They already 2x. So if I tell you guys get into these plays, it's just going to be a little bit too late. Now, remember, all of this is not financial advice, guys. I put these videos together because I want to show you guys what I'm personally doing to actually make some money. In addition to that, guys, if you want true alpha, Boltz alpha is where you want to go. We give you guys alpha every day, but if you want to come and see how it happens live every Tuesday and Thursdays, guys, we stream here on YouTube and we kind of give you guys a 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, 10x, depending on how the market is doing every single stream. So hopefully you guys come by and hang out. And don't forget, check out Boltz Alpha and drop by and say hello. Thank you guys for watching. All the links are down below, and I'll see you guys on the next one.